my experiences through the preparation of the gate and the final after gate. Uh, so like before I joined RVC, I didn't even know that gate actually was a abbreviation. So just to give an idea, if anyone here doesn't know it, just to so it's gate is basically an aptitude test. So what we learn in engineering, we just try to see if we can how much we know that, and that will be useful. The advantage of gate has already been explained by Uma ma'am. So what I'll try to do here is I'll try to divide my experiences into multiple stages and hopefully give an idea of some ideas which will help others also to take up the exam and clear it. One disclaimer before I start. So you'll see through all our three talks that we all have a different experiences with the preparation. So there is not one method which will help you crack the gate. So it'll depend on each person, and what we present here hopefully will be helpful in understanding what will be useful for you and what you can take to prepare for the exam. So the first stage I would say would starts from the start of engineering itself. Mainly maybe from the second year, since the first year is has all these courses. So for me also, like, I didn't have an idea at that time of writing gate, but what we learned in those two first, second and third year, even though we might not have remembered everything by the time we started our gate preparation, they surely helped us in like relearning the things faster. So the first stage would be to understand everything, every subject properly, because the exam does require technical expertise and not just remembering some items. So that would be the first stage, and you can actually, there'll be multiple platforms which will motivate you and provide you an opportunity for towards this. So for me, there were two things. So in 2016, I entered this National Engineering Challenge by Gate Academy, and in 2017, I also took part in this Indian Engineering Olympiad by Gate Forum. So these are also aptitude tests. While it's not exactly like Gate and do not even contain the syllabus as the same as Gate, they do help in motivating uh, to prepare for Gate, and also as a part of these challenges, there's a chance you'll meet with multiple people who are already cleared Gate and are already in good position. So you'll get an idea of what needs to be done, and also these lead to rewards in the end. Say if you complete the challenge or you win the competition, you'll get rewards from these courses like Gate Academy and Gate Forum courses, which can actually be helpful for preparation as well. Uh, so so towards the end of third year, I would say we move on to the stage where we start preparing exactly for Gate. So even I had a small start to the Gate. So here comes, like, most of us will have the doubt that whether we need to go for coaching or prepare ourselves. So I had a mixture of both. So because of IEO, I had availability of resources from Gate Forum, mainly the books and online classes. They were even offline classes, but I couldn't attend those a lot of times, only a few times. But I used those material to basically understand what needs to be, what is required for me to prepare for the Gate. So the preparation mainly included uh, like checking out what area I still need to, I haven't understood in my engineering course, or what extra is there in the syllabus. And you'll have access to lot of mock papers, either be it in coaching or even in the internet. You'll have access to mock papers, which will help you evaluate where you are at in preparation. So as this image shows, I would say that there's no right way that whether you need to take coaching or not take. It will depend on you, like how you would want to study. So if you can attend coaching, that will be also useful, or you can also prepare by yourselves by understanding what is required from your end. So while this the preparation will obviously go till the last date, the last minute part, the last few months, 1 or 2 months, will be different from the initial stages. For me also, it was completely different. Like initially, there was a nervous side where you don't know whether you have done enough. or whether you need to do a lot more. But due to the time constraints, you will have to try to maximize the what you can do. So what for me, a technique that I used here was to check the internet and other materials where you get this idea of which subjects, which topics in your area have more weightage when compared to others. So you can make what I made a list of all those areas with respect to how many marks it usually comes in each gate exam, in the previous gate exams. And depending on my knowledge of those top, the ones which have more marks, I actually try to model which subject I need to concentrate on. The idea was to maximize the topics so that I can try to get the most of it in the exam. So as the deadline comes closer, it will be important for you to find what exactly is needed to maximize our final output. So finally, it will be the exam day. So like many of us, all of us would have already have like experience of an exam day with all the entrance exams. So as this image shows, so like you can see here, like we'll usually know most of the things. It's not like we don't know the things, but the important thing will be for time management. So in the exam day, even when you know something, you might not be able to approach it because of all the pressure and the time constraints. So it's important to be calm and then find a way you can manage the time. So in the last preparation which I talked here, one way could be the which I followed as well, was to try a lot of mock papers to evaluate where we are at and how to spend the time in the exam, like 3 hours exam, how much what part we should concentrate on, and all those related stuff. So one more technique which I used, I would like to explain here. Like on exam for time management, what I did was uh, for the exam, I went to multiple rounds. So in the first round, I went through the whole paper looking at the questions which I am sure I can solve and will solve in very small amount of time. So I attempted those first and then come back again to the whole order, looking at the questions which I can get the answer but will take more time. So that was the second round. And to understand which questions you have to do in each round, you can use the features available in the gate exam. So the online gate exam will allow you to mark for review and all those things, which you can actually use to see in which round which type of questions you'll attend. So after the second round, the third round might be to look at the questions which you might be able to answer, but you'll need to think. And finally, if time permits, you can look at the questions which you didn't understand or you couldn't think what to do and try to solve in the time left. So the idea here is to maximize that day how much you can solve. So it's not always about getting complete all answering all the questions, because it's not always possible. If you do that, it's well and good, but otherwise the idea is to basically try to maximize how much you can get. So many would think that the cracking the gate ends after you finish the exam, but what I feel is it's not just there, but the cracking the gate effectively means you get out something out of it. So this is where the next part comes, and as already in the introduction was explained, you'll have multiple opportunities. Like for example, in Indian Social Science, which I am familiar with, there will be multiple departments where you can apply for and multiple courses which you can take. So I joined the MTech research program, and I recently submitted the thesis as well. So with that, I think I come to the end of my talk. So I would like to just point one thing that, so see, we are still in around May. So there's a lot of time even for the third years currently, because the exams will be in next February. So it will be a good time to start now as well, even if you're thinking to write the exam. And yeah, with this, I'll end my talk. All the best for anyone who plans to take the gate exam. Yeah.
ಮಹೇಶ್, ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೋಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ದ ರೋಲ್ ಆಫ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಹೂ ಇಸ್ ಸ್ಪೀಕಿಂಗ್?
Ma'am, it's Abhishek. I'll speak.
Abhishek. I think Mahesh, you can change the role of Abhishek to presenter. I have made you as a host.
No, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I have nothing to present, ma'am.
Yeah, you can speak, Abhishek.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, there is nothing much in terms of preparation which I want to add to Dheeraj's presentation. The only thing is what I have come across when I see colleagues, all are from different backgrounds. Those who started preparing in the third year, fourth year, and someone who took 1 year off like me, or yeah, some people went to coaching, some people prepared self on their own. So it all depends upon what support do you need and how confident are you if you want to prepare on your own. If you need any guidance, then yeah, definitely you can approach some coaching center. Or nowadays anyway, it's everything is online. So I think there are so many resources. I mean, IIT lectures videos are there. So what are these videos? I forgot.
NPTEL?
NPTEL, sorry. Yeah, NPTEL videos are there. So they are actually quite good. So, and they are free of cost. So most of them are free of cost. So you can make use of all of them. And so if we take Karthik, actually Karthik worked as a project assistant. So he used to attend lectures in IIC before cracking it. I think definitely that would have helped him. So there are so many different ways which you can start preparing, Now, because you are in fourth year, say you couldn't get time and this is your final semester, right? So maybe you can join a job, and some companies actually offer you to pursue MTech after joining. Or if you are in, say, IEM or some other department, then actually industrial experience matters when you're doing your MTech. So it's not same across all the departments. So actually, when working at a job and then pursuing MTech is also well recommended because you know what to focus on, and you have some ideas to work when you join as an MTech. And especially if you want to join PhD, then think twice, I would say. There are several options where you can join MTech and then convert to PhD, or join MTech research and then extend it to PhD. So instead of blindly joining for PhD, if you are having an idea or a scope which you can visualize and then join, it would be more better. I mean, I think Karthik worked 1 year as a project assistant in IIC, so he knows what is a way of research, and also it has helped him in his PhD also. I mean, he will speak about it more. But so my why did I want to? I mean, someone has asked question, why did I want to join GATE? Why did I want to pursue GATE? So after end of the fourth semester, eighth semester, I suddenly realized I mean, whatever I have learned is not enough, or I want to learn more depth into each subject. Like in all the 8 semesters, whatever subject we learned, we're up to a certain depth. But if you want to go into a designer role or R&D jobs, then BTech, they usually do ask for a compulsory MTech or a BTech with so many years of experience, right? So I thought, yeah, I still wanted more understanding. And then, so I took a GATE year off because I had never planned to write GATE. GATE exam is, see, about competitiveness, about GATE exam, right? You can say whoever, I mean, GATE is very different exam compared to the whatever some end exam you write in the college. In GATE, usually 2-3 topics are linked and a question is framed. If you want to just say, just for a reference, if you want to just qualify GATE, I think even the semester exam preparation is enough. You need not do any extra preparation for that. But if you want to score well or improve your score or get a good rank, then you need to have a better understanding, and you should try to interlink subjects, and that flow will come only when you study for GATE. And studying GATE is not, it doesn't go in vain if you couldn't crack it in the first year. I mean, I have personally seen many students who were studying, preparing GATE along with me, but they couldn't get a good rank, but they eventually joined Qualcomm. Only because while preparing GATE, you would have learned so many basics and in depth, which will help you to crack interview very easily. So preparing for GATE is, I mean, anytime it's no loss. So it's a profit. And so about joining, what is the cutoff for IISc and those questions, right? See, I have known people who have got GATE rank around 2000 and joined IISc for MTech research or PhD. See, IISc is if you want to join in the research field, say MTech research, what Dheeraj has done or Karthik is doing PhD, there will be another interview screening after you qualify for a GATE, after you qualify GATE. So joining IISc, there is no clear line of cutoff. Yeah, there are some GATE scores above which they will select you for interviews. But if you want to pursue for MTech, then you need to get more into hundreds. I mean, less than 1,000, I would say. And that depends upon year to year and what branch you are applying to. That you can find that those statistics you can find it in the website. And coming to MTech, I think I can speak about MTech. Karthik will speak about, Dheeraj will speak about research question. So MTech, if it's IISc or IITs, it's more or less same, I feel. But in IISc, the advantage is if you join any lab under any professor, the students around you, majority will be research students. So you also get to know a taste of how research goes just by joining MTech. You need not join MTech research or PhD. And IISc has that flexibility. You can convert after 1 year of MTech, you can convert to PhD. And so there are a lot more flexibility in IISc in curriculum when compared to IITs. Maybe, I mean, now even IITs are changing. So so those details you can find it in website. Apart from that, so how long did it take to prepare, and is self-study effective? The self-study, I mean, you need to analyze yourself, maybe take few mock tests, or chapter-wise tests will also be there. So see how comfortable you are in answering those questions. And yeah, try to make a peer group which you can discuss. That will help. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? I'll keep monitoring. Maybe Karthik, you can speak. I'll keep monitoring the questions and then come back.
Okay, sure. Okay, so we are talking about GATE. GATE from the perspective of joining industry as well as academia, both. Okay, so many of you have asked, is self-preparation effective? I'll give one answer. Yes, it is, because I self-prepared. I didn't go to any coaching center. And many of you have asked, how long does it take typically to prepare for GATE? I have a very, very explicit answer for that also. I started in August 2014, ended in December 2014. That's all, August to December. Okay, you dedicate completely. So for 2014 was when I graduated. I spent 6 months after graduating, August to December. That's it. That was enough for me. So I can also tell you at the end, I can also tell you about some resources from using which I prepared. Just to be, just to answer some questions that some students have. Is it good to give GATE in the 3rd year? I'm not sure you can give it in the 3rd year, but you can always give it in the 4th year. That is, once you have completed the 7th semester, if when you are entering the 8th semester, that is usually around the time of January, correct? So that is when GATE exam usually happens. GATE exam happens around the end of January or the beginning of February. I gave GATE 2 times. I gave GATE when I was in the 4th year once, and I gave GATE the 2nd time after graduating from RV. So I can tell you that experience also. So in the 7th semester, if I remember correctly, this was in 2014, January. We had around 2000 August to December. I mean September to December or something like that is the odd semester at RV College. That is in 2013 September to December. I had completed the 7th semester. If I remember correctly, in 2013 we had around 7 subjects in the 7th semester, most of which was covering most of the GATE syllabus. Let me be very frank in that. The first time I gave GATE in January 2014, I did not prepare at all, actually. I just studied seriously for 7th semester. If I remember correctly, we had, analog mixed mode VLSI. We had wireless cellular communications. It was called WCC back then. I don't know what that course has been named to now. We had almost all the subjects that GATE requires us to prepare for, except for engineering mathematics. I had completely forgotten engineering mathematics at that point of time. And that usually comes very less. It is usually about 10 or 20 marks, that's all, that engineering mathematics. So that part is the aptitude part in GATE exam. So I thought I'll just skip that. Okay, I'll not touch that part. I'll prepare seriously for the electronics and communications core subjects that are asked in GATE. And almost all of these subjects, I had already had one round of revision by studying 7th semester seriously. So just based on whatever I studied in the 7th semester, I gave GATE. And to my fortune, I got 255th rank at that time. But unfortunately, I didn't apply to IAC. So IAC applications usually start very early and they end early. So I missed the application date. I mean, I know you will not believe that, but I missed the application date and I didn't join IAC, which is actually for good, because I'll tell you what happened next. So I didn't join, and then, but yeah, not joining is not the point. The point is that I could crack GATE with a very good rank. So yes, the answers to some of your questions, it is possible to take GATE in the 4th year. Your GATE score and your GATE score, okay, GATE score, which will be out of 1000, will be valid. I think it will be for 100 actually. Then they will later do a relative score to 1000. So your exam you will be writing for 100 marks, GATE exam. That score, whatever you get out of 100, will be valid for 3 years. Okay, it will be valid for 3 years. So you can take it in the 4th year. You can maybe have 1 year of gap and then again take GATE exam, or join some other institute or a PSU with your old GATE score itself. Okay, so that is possible. The duration that it is typically required for preparing for GATE, I would say, keep around 4 to 5 solid months for GATE. Okay, so that will help you get seriously good ranks. I have no doubt about that. If you seriously prepare in those 4 to 5 months, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to get a very good rank. And you may also want to know how much of time I dedicated every day for preparing. It's not that I prepared the whole day. Okay, so this is the story after I graduated from RVCE. So what happened is that I got an offer from the Indian Institute of Science to work as a project assistant, which means that I have to be there in the lab of one of the professors and then work with that professor. So I had some research work to carry out. In parallel, I was preparing for GATE. So usually what would happen is that I would go to IAC at around 10 a.m. and then I would return, I would come back home by around 8:30 p.m. or so, 8:30, 9 p.m. I would rest until about 10:30, make sure I get a quick nap kind of a thing. And then I would sit from 10:30 to 12 or something like that. 1.5 hours per day, that's all. I think that's more than enough. That is how I prepared. I did not go to any coaching center. I self-studied. It is possible. If it is possible to self-study and get a good rank, okay? So don't worry about that. So I followed this book by Kishore Kashyap. Okay, so he is a professor in IIT Delhi. I don't know if he has retired now. So he has written a very, very good book on GATE. It has all the topics and it has both theory, whatever little theory is required for you in terms of understanding the formulae or, getting the basics right. It has all the theory part. There are plenty of problems, numericals that you can keep working out and, get some practice. He also has provided detailed solutions to all the problems. So initially I would go through the solutions of some problems and then I would work out the remaining by myself. So that is how I did. August to December, that is the duration I reserved for GATE. So as I said, August to December in the mornings, I used to go to IAC. I used to work at IAC. And after coming back home, 1.5 hours per day. That's all. I used to reserve that. And whatever you study, make sure you give that 100% in that duration. Okay, for that duration, you just make sure you give 100%. It's okay. You don't need to study 5-6 hours per day. Just some people, what they did was, I mean, some people in the sense, some of my friends who were at IAC, who were working along with me, they used to reserve weekends for preparing for GATE. They used to sit like 6 hours on Saturdays, 6 hours on Sunday, and they used to do it. I did not do that. I used to do 1.5 hours all the days, including Saturday and Sunday. So that way I got time for myself. I could make time for carrying out research work in the lab where I was working in. At the same time, I could also prepare for GATE. Okay, and yeah, so I gave a GATE exam twice. That answers it. And then yes, you can take GATE in different streams. If you are an ECE student, if you are a student studying EC now, you are always most welcome to take GATE exam in other streams. There are some streams which are permitted, so you can take GATE in those streams like EE, CS. You can take. Now the thing that you need to ask yourself before taking GATE in those streams is how comfortable are you with the syllabus in those streams. Number two, if you were to get into the same department as the stream in which you have taken GATE. So let's say you did GATE very well. You did very well in the GATE exam, and let's say you took up GATE in CS. And let's say you want to join the computer science department in some other institute. I won't say necessarily IISc, maybe IITs. Let's say you want to join the computer science engineering department there. What would you like to do there? Is that the right department for you, is what you would like to ask. Of course, you can take GATE CS and still join an ECE department later. That is also possible. Like you can take up CS GATE and you can still join ECE department in some IIT or IISc. That is also, it is allowed. In fact, IISc ECE department allows students who have taken GATE in CS also to join. Okay, so that is also there. So what you need to ask yourself is how comfortable are you with the syllabus in that particular subject, in that particular stream rather. If you want to, if you are an industrial engineering student and you want to take GATE in some other, let's say mechanical, I think that is allowed. I think you will be able to do that. But the question you need to ask yourself is how good are you? How familiar are you with the subjects that are taught in mechanical? Because 4 years of training that you are receiving, you will be receiving at RV College, you wouldn't have studied mechanical in that great depth as compared to the concepts that you would have studied in industrial engineering and management. Or let's say you are a chemical engineering student and you would like to take GATE in some other stream. The only thing that will stop you from doing so is how familiar you are with the topic in which you would like to take GATE in, the subject in which you would like to take GATE. So I think that will answer it. So, I mean, just from my side, just to summarize, yes, I self-studied. I did not go to a GATE coaching center. I took GATE twice, once when I was in the 4th year and once after graduating from RV. There are some excellent resources that you can refer to. The one thing that I did though was, because I was at IAC, I could request the professor with whom I was working to take 1 month gap, a break for 1 month from research. So this was in January of 2015. August to December 2014 is when I worked at IAC as a project assistant. I was working in the lab. The professor there also knows about GATE exam because he is an IAC professor. He is also in the panel. He is one of the panelists when it comes to setting GATE papers when IAC is the conducting institute. So he knows about GATE exam. He very well knows the status, like what is it that it takes to prepare for GATE and things like that. So he was okay with me taking a break for 1 month. So the whole of January 2015, I took a break from research activities at IAC. I stayed completely full-time at home and I used to take these mock tests. So I have subscribed to GATE Forum's mock tests. So I took about 10, there were about 10 or so. I paid for 10 mock tests. I just paid for the last mock tests part. I did not pay for the individual subjects tests. I just paid for the mock tests and I practiced in the mock tests. So I used to take 1 mock test every 2 days. So that was like overall 20 days. The last 2 days, I did not prepare anything. I was just revising. I made some notes. I made notes meticulously while I was reading. That is from Kishore Kashyap's book. During August to December, when I was reading, I used to take down notes meticulously. During that mock test period, that is in January, I only used to refer to this notes of mine, not the thick, the Kishore Kashyap book. I never used to go back to that, except when there is some formula which I may have skipped while reading because I feel it is not important. But then there is a question in the mock test that appears based on that formula, which I don't know and I can't answer. Only in that case, I used to go back to the original text, which is Kishore Kashyap's book. I used to see through the formula. Only then it would make sense. Okay, this is why the formula is required. So usually I am of the type where I don't read a formula if I don't understand the context in which it fits. So that is how it happened. And yeah, so I took mock tests. So that is, I think that is very important. You do need to take mock tests because you'll get a feel for how exactly GATE exam unrolls on the day of exam. You will not have that, that fear. You'll not have that fear of time running out and things like that. You will be practicing that mock test for 3 hours. GATE exam is for 3 hours, 100 marks. And it will also be online. Your mock test will also be online. You will be required to submit answers through that online portal that GATE Forum had prepared. For me, in my case, it was GATE Forum. So I was required to key in the answers there, and I got a feel for that virtual platform, which I would be using on the day of the exam. So for me, on the day of the exam, bilkul no problems. I was able to sail through it very easily. The only thing is you need to be sure about the formula and all of that. That will come with practice. You just keep reading, and that will come with practice. So I would say for those of you who are in the second, third years, you have time. Okay, you can give GATE only in the fourth year, if I'm not wrong. You can't give GATE in third year. I think so, but I'm not sure. Maybe Abhishek or Dheeraj can clarify.
No, Karthik, now actually they have allowed third year students.
They have allowed, huh? I see.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah. Okay, then I need to change my statement now. So third year students are also allowed, it seems, which is, I think, a good thing because you need not waste 1 year like me. You can take GATE exam in the third year. If you do not get a good rank, you can take GATE exam in the fourth year, get a good rank, and join immediately after your bachelor's. You need not take a 1 year gap like me. Of course, the 1 year gap that I had bore advantages in many other ways. I'll be happy to share that if somebody wants to know. But in terms of GATE, it was that duration, that 1 year of gap that I took after graduating from RV while I was working at IASE. I would see all people around me who have already taken GATE, and they were able to help me in terms of making me understand what is it that it takes to crack GATE, how I should study for GATE. So all the master's students, like Abhishek, like Dheeraj, PhD students like me, I used to interact with them when I was at IASE. So I used to ask tips from them about how is it that I should prepare for GATE, what is it that I should focus on. The one thing everybody used to tell me is, please don't take it so seriously. It's not such a serious exam. Okay. And there are some important things that you need to remember in order to crack GATE well. And those are the things that they told me, and it helped me a lot actually. Okay. So I was surrounded by people who made me want to become like them. So I also wanted to become a master's student. I wanted to become a PhD student. So it was with that kind of a motivation that I studied for GATE. I mean, you may think that it is an exception in my case. I agree, it is an exception. I was fortunate to get a position in IASE as a project assistant. Nonetheless, that helped me a lot. And whatever it is that I'm doing today, it is all because of the support that I received from my lab mates when I was working as a project assistant. So I'll be happy to share some of the experiences if some of you would like to know. Okay, so I won't bore you all with about telling my own experience. You can shoot questions at us, and we'll try to take up as many questions as possible. Just one request: all of you, please type in your questions in the Q&A box. Okay, or if Mahesh sir will allow you to unmute yourselves and ask questions, that is also okay. You can take turns and unmute yourselves and ask questions. Let's what is the time now? It's about 5:50, so we still have time. Okay, we'll take up as many questions as possible. You can ask based on our experiences. We will tell you the answers. So I think all the three of us took GATE in EC. Is that correct? EC stream, Abhishek and Dheeraj?
Yes.
Yes. So all of us have taken GATE in the EC stream, and all of us ended up in the EC department at IASE. Okay, that is a coincidence, but I'm sure some of you may want to explore other opportunities. You are most welcome to ask questions if you have any. So we'll try to answer as many questions as possible. So I'll now hand over the platform to Mahesh sir. He can decide what will
So
be done
there was
next.
one question. Someone was asking, I am from telecommunication department, and is there any separate exam for in the GATE? But I would say there is no separate exam for telecommunication in the GATE. You have to write ECE exam itself in the GATE. So there are some branches which could be specialization in our college, but they all come under like ECE or EEE in say there is instrumentation and technology. So I don't think there is separate paper for it. So some branches are combined. They have a combined GATE exam that you need to refer to the website. I think website has a very good explanation of what is what. And regarding, I think someone has asked, it's overwhelming when I'm in third year. I'm worried about placement. So that was I was saying is, if you start preparing for GATE, you need not prepare for separately for placement, because GATE is like a superset of all your placement preparation. I mean, see what when I gave my Qualcomm interview. So there were certain things definitely from my MTech, what I studied in my MTech, but those which I studied, say DFT or signal processing, same signals and system questions, right? And half of my interview was about GATE. I mean, those which I prepared for GATE helped me in my MTech job interview. So such is the importance of GATE preparation. Yeah.
Yeah, so many of you have been
Thanks.
asking. Yeah, so some of you, I think, so some of you have questions about what is the scope after doing masters at IAC. So I think, I mean, placements, yes, you will get, you will be placed very well. You can be sure of that. You can be very sure of that. The placement cell at IAC is like very good in terms of attracting some of the best companies. Of course, the companies also want some of the best brains in the country, so they will naturally come hunting for talent in IAC. So you need not worry about that, okay? And many of you may also have in mind getting into PSUs with GATE. Sure. So I know some of them who have gotten into PSUs after GATE. I mean, some of your seniors, they actually used to come to IAC to talk to me, to take some help from me. I shared my notes with them, and I helped them, so I know what is it that they went through. It looks like currently the scenario is a little bad because of COVID. The hiring has been affected a bit, but I mean, this will all get over. We all know that. So this will all get over. We'll all come back to normalcy. So keeping in mind that normal time, uh, when everything is normal, sure, you can get into PSUs through GATE. The specific rank that you will need to get in GATE, it also depends upon the specific category that you will belong to and the specific stream that you have applied, you have taken up GATE exam in. For ECE and EE students and CS students, I think the competition will be slightly higher because the number of candidates who take GATE in these streams is typically very high. Just make sure, so if you're in the third year, I think you are in the best place now. Okay, so if you're in the third year or the fourth year, just make sure that you're studying whatever you're studying correctly. Okay, just make sure you focus on your semester properly. That is the only advice I would give you. I personally did that and I benefited from that. So I know the benefit of that. Even after graduating from RV College, it was very easy for me to study Kishore Kashyap's book because most of the syllabus was already based on whatever I had studied at RV. Okay, we all have excellent teachers at RV who teach us very well. The syllabus is perfectly crafted for GATE exam. Let me tell you that. Many of them say that the syllabus is not crafted for that. It's very well crafted for that, which also means it is crafted well for placements. So you need not, as Abhishek said, you need not separately prepare for placements if you're preparing for GATE. Okay, for me, it happened in parallel. So I got placed in the 8th semester, in the 7th semester rather. So when I started reading some topics in 7th semester while I was preparing for placements, it also helped me for GATE. As I said, I never separately prepared for GATE actually. So in my case, you can think of it either way. You need not separately prepare for placements. You need not separately prepare for GATE. Both of them come in the same package. Okay. And then can we apply for astronomy and astrophysics through GATE? I think you can. It depends on where those courses are offered. In IAC, there are courses on astrophysics and astronomy, which is taught from professors who are with the Raman Research Institute, RRI, but you need to check with the specific institutes that you would like to apply for. I think in India, these astrophysics and astronomy related courses are mostly available in some of the IITs, some ICERs, if I'm not wrong. And then there is IIST, Indian Institute of Space Technology. So there is a specific institute that handles these kind of courses. So you need to look at the specific institute, look at the requirements that they have. Do they require GATE, or do they require you to take up specific exams? For example, I remember that IIST has a specific exam that you will need to take. I'm not sure if they hire through GATE also, it may be there. So you just need to check the specific requirements of the institute that you would like to go to. Have a particular institute in mind. If you have a lot of interest in particular fields, in particular subjects like astrophysics, astronomy, make sure you make a list of all the institutes that offer such courses in India or abroad. Either way, abroad means GATE exam doesn't apply. But if you are looking to join within India, make sure you have a list of all the institutes which offer that program that you're interested to get further into, and then read up the requirements that those institutes have. Accordingly, you prepare. If it is GATE, make sure you give 100% of all your efforts in preparing for GATE and writing GATE exam. Any books on aerospace? I'm very sorry. Unfortunately, I don't personally know of any books particularly on aerospace, but you can definitely check books that are similar to Kishore Kashyap's GATE book. So Kishore Kashyap's book is mostly on ECE, but I think there are similar books that will definitely be published in all the other streams as well. So you are most welcome to check those out. So questions are obviously different for different branches. Are the questions same for all branches or different for different branch? Obviously, they are different. Mostly it will be stream specific. EC paper, if you take GATE in EC subject, if you take the EC paper in GATE, most of your questions will be based on whatever you have studied in EC. Of course, mechanical will have mechanical based questions, and I think that's needless to say. The pattern of the paper is that there will be aptitude. I hope I'm correct. I think Dheeraj and Abhishek are better positioned to answer this question, because I took GATE in 2014 and 15. It may be slightly outdated now, but Abhishek and Dheeraj can correct me if I'm wrong. So there will be 20 marks of aptitude, and I think it will be 80 from the main stream that you are taking the exam in. Sorry, Abhishek wants to say?
I think 15 or something marks. Maths
15 and
aptitude.
85, is it? I see.
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, but the math portion, which is the aptitude portion, will be very less. Okay, I think it is usually about 1/5 of the whole paper. You can check the specifics. So it'll be either 15 or 20 marks, and then the rest of it will be whatever is the stream that you're taking it in: CS, EC, EE, mechanical, that kind of thing. And you will have questions which will be multiple choice. That is one of them. Then you will have the option to key in the answer to some specific questions. So you will be provided the text box. The answer to those kind of questions will be a numerical. Okay, it will be a number. It can be a decimal number or whatever it is. You will be asked to round off to 2 decimal places or 1 decimal place and things like that. And you will be asked to key in the answer in the text box. So some of them will be like you have to key in the answer. Some of them will be multiple choice based questions. Okay, so that is how the paper pattern usually will be. And so Sharanya has asked, did you sit for placements? I hope that question is for me. Yes, I did. I did sit for placements. I got placed in Mahindra Comviva. This was in the 7th semester. Only after I got placed did I actually sit for GATE. To be very frank, I was not interested in studying further. I'm sorry I'm saying this. As a PhD student, I know when I compare myself, when I look back like 7 years, 7 years back, I can't imagine that I have actually, I'm at the end of completing my PhD now. But to be very frank, I was not interested in, studying further. I did not want to actually take GATE. I sat for placements. I started preparing for placements. So the placements usually ask for these general aptitude questions more than the technical questions. Technical questions will come, but you will have to clear the aptitude round first for you to be able to get to the technical interview rounds. Some of the companies will have technical questions also in their written round itself. So either way, technical is always there. I had to also prepare a little more for the aptitude part of it. So yes, I prepared for that, and I was also anyway preparing for the technical part while I was in the 7th semester. So during my time, I could not take GATE in the 3rd year. It's a very, very good welcoming change, I would say, that you people are actually allowed to take GATE in the 3rd year. I wanted to, but I could not. At that time, there was no provision to take GATE in the 3rd year. So yes, I sat for placements like most of you will, or most of you have been, I think. So I sat for placements. About 2 to 3 months into the placements, I got placed in Mahindra Comviva, and I did not sit for any other company after that. It was anyway an open dream company, so I could not sit for any other companies after that. So once that was over, my mind slowly started turning, and the reason it turned towards academics is because I got an opportunity to do my final year project at IAC. So I think that was a turning point. Till then, I was not very open to taking up GATE exam and things like that. In the 7th semester itself, I got to know that I will be doing the final year project in IAC because we had to talk to the professor. We had to, get that appointment formally done as interns. So I was an intern at that time when I was carrying out my final year project. So as an intern, IAC has some paperwork and all of it to be done. So the professor was constantly in touch with us. The appointment had to be done. All of this was happening while we were in the 7th semester. So we already got to know that we will be going to IAC and doing our final year project. And that was a game changer actually for me personally, because that opened up so many opportunities. Of course, I had already taken GATE before going and joining the professor there for the project. But I started I started preparing for GATE just to give it a try, because many of them told me that you can also get into PSUs with GATE exams. So I thought, okay, why not? Anyway, if I'm not interested in if I'm not interested in studying further, it's okay. Anyway, if I'm going to do a job, I'll also try some PSU. That's what I thought, and then I started preparing. So 7th semester syllabus is what I seriously studied. That 7th semester syllabus was crafted so beautifully that all the subjects got revised. I'm telling you, it's like seriously, it was so good. All the subjects that come in GATE in one way or the other, I had a very good revision of all those subjects except for engineering mathematics. I did not touch engineering mathematics to that great a detail. Of course, there were some aptitude questions. Aptitude questions I could answer. General aptitude I was able to answer. There were some English questions like synonyms or something like that. So I was able to answer those kind of questions. But specific to engineering mathematics, I had forgotten some of the details. Like, for example, Newton's method, or evaluating integrals using Newton's method, or even basic probability at that point of time. So I had forgotten some of the details at that time. So I did not worry much about that. I thought to myself, okay, whatever little I know, I'm going to give the best shot in that. And it worked actually. So make sure, again, I'm telling students in the 3rd and 4th years, you are in a very, very, very good position. Make sure you study the material thoroughly. Okay. I think the RV, the syllabus that we have at RV is such that you will time and again be given opportunities to make sure you study the old material properly now. So if you have not studied it well before, it's okay. You'll be given another opportunity to study it well now, because all those concepts will come again. So that way you should make use of that, okay, that opportunity, and study well in whatever you do in your curriculum. You study that well, automatically GATE and placements will be taken care of. Okay. So maybe Abhishek and Dheeraj can answer some questions. I'm doing a lot of talking actually.
Thank you, Karthik. So one question I think they are asking is, does CGPA matter in the result of GATE exam? What weightage does CGPA? It's 0. So it doesn't matter what CGPA you have. You can clear GATE. Except if there is some interview, they might consider, but there is no strict rule that 9 above CGPA, because my CGPA itself in RV was less than 9, but I could make IAC. And another question is it tougher than JEE Advanced or Mains? I couldn't clear JEE Advanced, but
No. I took JEE Advanced. Trust me, it's not so difficult. Please.
Yeah.
Okay, let me tell you a joke. Okay. So when I was at IAC, some people used to tell this joke. Okay, please don't take this joke seriously, because you'll I mean, I know I am putting at stake Abhishek, Dheeraj, and my positions here. But anyway, so people who go to IITs for bachelors are considered products of IITs, products of India. Let's put it that way. Okay. People who go to IITs for masters are considered byproducts of IIT. Okay. And people who go to the IITs for PhD are considered waste products of IIT. Okay. This is just a joke. Okay. Please don't take it seriously. The point of telling you this is that GATE exam is not as difficult as JEE Advanced. Please, there is no comparison. JEE Advanced is JEE Advanced, GATE is GATE. Okay. It is definitely not as tough as JEE Advanced because I have taken that. I have taken JEE Mains, I have taken JEE Advanced. Of course, when I took it, it was called AIEEE and IIT JEE. Nowhere close. Please, you have all done excellently well in your CETs or Comet case or whatever, and you have come here. You are very fortunate. Please have the confidence that you will be able to crack GATE exam in the first go itself. 100% sure you will be able to do that. I did it. You will be able to do it. Okay. So yeah, Abhishek, please.
What is the one thing that inspired you to most to join IISc? I would say nature at IISc. There are lots of trees. So, so actually, to be clear, I was not aiming at to join IISc. So my aim was to join for masters. For masters, as I said earlier, there is no specific thing that I should do masters from IISc. Other IITs, old IITs like Madras or Kharagpur, even I mean, when I was talking to my professor recently, new IITs have very much better advanced curriculum. Some of the new IITs have very much advanced curriculum when compared to old, the so-called, I mean, IIT Kharagpur or Delhi or even for IISc. I mean, with respect to a practical engineering point of view, the curriculum at I don't remember that new IIT's name, but my professor was saying he visited that IIT and he found that so much of applied engineering is done, which is not even offered in IISc, he was saying. So don't stick, because we three are from IISc, don't stick that from GATE we have to join IISc itself. For masters, I can surely say that all other institutes do enough justice as IISc does in the masters. So maybe even more, because there is no BTech in IISc, right? So there are BTech students in other engineering colleges who joined through IIT JEE or IIT Advanced. So a lot of engineering projects do happen in IITs when compared to IISc. IISc is more of research oriented, that I would say. So if you are in a half mind, like whether I will join research or PhD, then maybe IISc would be a better option, because by getting into the lab at IISc while doing your master's project, you will also get to know how research is done, what is the process. Yeah, that is the thing. And so what aptitude questions? So I would say the GATE aptitude questions are much easier than what you attempt in placements. Actually, the scoring part in GATE is the aptitude part. They are less tougher than your placement questions. So you need not prepare separately for GATE. I mean, aptitude is just 15 marks, but I would say that is the easiest part in the GATE exam. Yeah.
So one of you has asked if we want to do masters after working in any company for 1 or 2 years, what is the procedure? The procedure is the same. You just apply for GATE, take GATE exam, you clear it, and you go and join one of the IITs or IISc. And let me tell you that also one of the students has asked, if we are not able to make it to the IITs or IISc, is it a good option to do masters in one of the NITs? Sure. If you feel that you have not been able to make it to the IITs or NITs, you can certainly consider research options if that interests you. Typically, what happens is that specific to, I mean, I wanted to tell this eventually, but okay, now that time has come, let me tell that. So specific to IISc, this usually applies to the IITs also. Okay, just keep this in mind. So specific to IISc, I'll talk specific to IISc. So in IISc, there are master's programs and PhD is also there. So in masters, there are two types of masters. One master's program is usually focused on courses. Okay, so you will be taking up a lot of courses. You will be learning about different topics that will help you decide what exactly you may be interested in case you want to pursue a PhD later. So that will give you that flexibility to understand different topics, different subjects well, and then you will be able to make that choice of which topic is it that interests me the most in case I would like to study further. And Abhishek actually did that kind of a program. It's called the MTech program. Usually it has more emphasis on courses. Okay, like how you are doing in RV now, you will be taking some similar slightly advanced level courses at IAC. Okay, so there is also another MTech program which is called MTech Research. So Dheeraj actually did MTech Research. So MTech Research is like a mini PhD. Okay, if I can put it that way, it's like a mini PhD. A PhD typically takes 5 years. A MTech research program is usually for about 2.5 to 3 years. So that will give you a flavor for research, what exactly research means. And if you don't like research, you can obviously, after 2.5 years, you will be done. You can feel free to look for industry opportunities. So that is what is called MTech research. And of course, there is PhD. There is an option to join for PhD directly after doing BE. That is what I did. So that is called direct PhD. So PhD is PhD as usual. So you just there is more focus on research. Okay, and there is some amount of courses also that we PhD students have to take at IAC. But the difference between the kind of courses that PhD students and MTech research students take, as opposed to the kind of courses that MTech students do, is that MTech research and PhD students will have the flexibility to choose the kind of courses that they want to do. Okay, there will be some compulsory courses, but you will have the flexibility to choose what courses you want to do based on the research topic that you will be taking up, based on the kind of research that you will be doing. For example, the kind of research that I do requires a lot of mathematics courses to be taken. So I went to the math department and I took some courses there. Usually MTech students, that is MTech coursework students, will not take courses from the math department. It is very, very, very rare. Okay, so they will have certain prescribed set of courses which they will have to complete in order for them to be eligible to get their degree. Okay, so the MTech program has more focus on coursework. At the same time, usually MTech students, they either go for placements or they tend to go for PhD abroad. Okay, and MTech research students and PhD students, they usually take courses which is streamlined to their research, whatever is required for their research work. Okay, so the reason why I brought all this up is because the preparation that you're going to do for GATE exam, that will ultimately, the way you are going to study, the way you are going to prepare will eventually help you even after you come and join IAC or IITs, whatever. Okay, so I think all of this started because one student had asked, is it good to do masters at NIT? Certainly yes, please don't have any doubts about that. You can also explore other institutes, ICERS, there is BITS Pilani. You can always explore institutes like that. If you are interested in research, typically what happens is that the GATE rank or GATE score, whatever is needed in order to get into the research programs will be very less. The cutoff will be much lesser than the cutoff for joining the MTech coursework program. The MTech coursework program, the seats sell like hot cakes. Like it's very much in demand because those people are the ones who will get to understand so many topics. There is so much of freedom in terms of you wanting to do a PhD later on or not. And then you can also get very good recommendations from the professors and go to PhDs to excellent universities abroad. So all that flexibility is there. Okay, but these research programs, what happens is that in addition to you clearing GATE exam, you will also be required to clear an interview. So there will be a technical interview for you. Okay, so it is the performance in the interview that actually matters when you want to get into the research programs. So just have this in mind. Okay, I won't tell too many details. You don't need to worry about all that. All you need to worry about now is how to prepare for GATE. How do I do well in GATE so that my prospects open up? That's all you need to worry about now. Don't worry about the specifics of what exactly happens after GATE exam. What is the cutoff? CGPA doesn't matter. Abhishek has already clarified that. CGPA doesn't matter. Don't worry about that. So how exactly to get into the MTech program, how exactly to get into the PhD, you can worry about all that later. Just focus on GATE, okay? And for that person who had asked about company, working in a company for 2 years, let's say, and then wanting to take up GATE. So if you've already taken up GATE exam and if you have a decent enough rank, that rank or that score, actually, that score will be valid for 3 years. Even if you want to work for 2 years and after that, if you want to join, you can still join with that same score, provided it is competitive enough. Now, that said, there are some companies which sponsor their candidates for the master's and PhD programs at IAC. Okay, so these are, for example, Texas Instruments, ABB, Cisco. There are companies like these which sponsor their candidates. If you happen to be such a sponsored person, if you are lucky enough to be sponsored by them, sure, you can take up that opportunity and you can come. So there are people who come from ISRO, from DRDO. So there are some specific number of seats that are reserved for them in the IITs and the IAC. Okay, so you can come in through those reservations also. I mean, those institutes, for example, ISRO has to nominate you as one candidate. It has to sponsor you. It has to sponsor your master's and PhD program. Only then you will be able to come. Otherwise, you won't be able to come. So typically, coming through ISRO or DRDO will take some time. But we have candidates every year at IISc who come from ISRO and DRDO. So that's not new. And some companies also sponsor their employees. They sponsor their employees to go and improve their acumen by doing the master's or PhD programs at IISc. So they will pick up some concepts and they will improve their toolkit basically, and then they'll go back and join their mother institute itself, their mother company rather in this case. That option is also there.
So Karthik, there were two questions. I think one is how do we land in academia after completing MTech, and one more is what is GATE? How do you compare GATE versus CAT or GRE? So if you ask me, I think based on the new education policy, I think if you have an equivalent degree or higher, you can teach that particular course. But I don't know when it will get amended. But certain universities I know which do consider MTech students for teaching BTech. I mean, you can join academia with MTech as well. Yeah, I think in RV also, I think so. I mean, maybe Uma ma'am or my sir can answer this better. And how is GATE versus CAT versus GRE? So I will say GATE versus GRE. CAT is something slightly different from GATE. So along with me, when I joined IISc, along with me, some of my batchmates who graduated from some universities in USA for their master's program. So we used to, I used to discuss who is the syllabus and how is it different from what we are studying here. It's the same. It's actually in IISc we had much more in-depth syllabus when compared to there. They have lesser number of credits or lesser number of subjects to study when compared to us, and they can, certain universities in US do allow to graduate without a project. I mean, in IISc or in India rather, it is compulsory to do a MTech thesis in order to get your MTech degree. But in US, certain universities allow you to, in the place of MTech project, you can complete a course with equal number of weightage or credits and then take a graduation. So if you want to pursue masters, if you have, if your intention is to get knowledge or learn more about anything, I think just for an MTech, it's as good as doing in India, as good as compared to US. But as Karthik said, if you want to do a master's or if you want to pursue higher PhD, maybe some specialization is available only in certain universities. And one more thing is GATE score is also can be used to apply for German universities. German universities do consider GATE score instead of GRE or any TOEFL or something. You can directly apply via GATE score. And I think in Germany, it is lot more financially, I mean, financial wise, it is lot more cheaper when compared to US or Singapore universities for pursuing MTech. I think it costs around 15 lakh or something, but it depends upon the course and university. But yeah, that option is very good actually. But be aware that those universities deadline crosses soon. Otherwise, you will miss deadline like Karthik. So those deadlines are very quick. I mean, immediately, I think 1-2 weeks after your gate score is out, they will close down application. So please, if you are planning to do, do a MTech or outside, if you want to apply to German or some European universities, then I think University of Singapore also considers gate score as a preliminary instead of GRE to be eligible. Basically, I think non-US countries, those who don't emphasize much on English, so those countries do consider GATE for a cutoff kind of a thing. And actually, I
Singapore
know
have really good colleges as well. NUS and NTU are really good. So Singapore would also be a really good option after GATE.
Yeah, I personally know a friend who prepared a GATE along with me, but he unfortunately couldn't, or fortunately couldn't get a good rank in GATE. He got about 2000, in the range 2000 to 3000. So he wanted to do masters, but when he had applied for a TU Delft, I think, German, if I remember correctly, and whatever he prepared for GATE, the same information, he didn't prepare anything extra for that university interview, for the technical interview. So he prepared, I mean, he just went and gave the interview and he got selected. See, because this entrance exam, the key is scoring highest number of marks, right? So I think, I mean, from my batch, I think whoever gets less than 1000 rank, I mean, or 2000 say, have more or less same knowledge, I would say. The thing which gives an edge is maybe faster attempting, or say maximizing the marks. Like, it's a skill, right, to write a entrance exam faster than compared to others, even though having the same knowledge. But some people do some quick calculations, or some people don't get nervous while answering. So all these factors do add in when it comes to entrance exam. So, and I mean, I know that person very well because he used to discuss with me. I know he has same knowledge what I had, but it came handy when he applied for German university, and he cleared the interview very well. The panelists were very happy. He said, you have very good basics, and he got appreciation, and he got selected for masters, and his degree is very good. I mean, there he's even getting internship, and he is getting his tuition fees all by earning there itself. Yeah, so a lot of opportunities open up when you start preparing for GATE. Even if you don't write GATE, right? It will be helpful for placements, or some universities will accept you. GATE is a platform through which you can apply to various number of PSUs. So I think, yeah, if you want to do, if you want to go ahead of BTech, or if you want to continue change your path, and then GATE is a very good option. Yeah.
Yes, I want to add with respect to the MS in US. We are planning to have an interaction with our alumni students who have joined to do the MS in US. Maybe another 2 weeks after 2 weeks, we may have interaction with our alumni because of your online meeting. Now all these are possible. So thanks to COVID once again. So anybody can talk to any other people. So I think 2 students already have volunteered that they want to help our students how to prepare for GRE, what are the best universities at US, which subject they have to select. So myself and Mahesh already have discussed. So we will be arranging shortly for the MS program, especially in the US, that is alumni interaction, our own students interaction.
Yeah, for MS, I personally know a friend who did EC along with me, but he joined computer science for masters in MS. So yeah, I mean, branch changing is quite common now, I would say.
Yeah, now because of AI and ML, there is no difference between EC, CS, IS, and everybody can cross over and do the master's program.
I forgot one question. There was one question from I think diploma student. Is there any need to prepare separately? He is a second year student, I think. So diploma, I think mainly you need to focus bit on some maths part, which you would have skipped in diploma or something. When I'm saying maths, especially in EC, right? Even if the gate maths and aptitude section is 15 marks, the rest 85 marks also involves a lot of mathematics, especially when you're trying to write ECE gate. There is a lot of maths, Laplace transforms, Fourier transforms. I mean, we use a lot of maths in our core subjects as well. So yeah, you can. One thing you can start is preparing maths, which you in your while you're pursuing your diploma, you can focus more on math. I think it will be. I mean, you need to anyway do the M2, M1, which you have not done in first year, right? So I think if you just study that thoroughly, that would be enough for GATE.
So actually, because there is an option now to take GATE in the third year, there is not much of a gap that you will have after having studied M4 in the fourth semester. There is fifth semester, and after the fifth semester, when you enter the sixth semester, in January or February, you will be giving GATE. So there is not much of a gap that you will anyway have. So I think that's a very, very good and welcoming move. I wish I had that when I took GATE. So one of the students has asked, how do you maintain that motivation to study? So the only answer is you should remind yourself, why did you start in the first place? So when you start preparing, there is something that you have in mind. There is a big goal that you are trying to target. So don't create a very tough picture about GATE exam. GATE exam is not tough actually. Which whatever you have studied in engineering, that is all that comes there. Okay, and certainly it is not along the same lines as IIT JEE. Definitely not. IIT JEE is a different category. Okay, here the goal is not to subject you through that kind of difficult questions or anything of that sort. The goal here is to prepare you. See, whatever you do after bachelor's, okay, till bachelor's, let's say it's somewhat mandatory for you to get some degree, okay, but after bachelor's, whatever you do is completely in your hands. It is because you are interested in doing that, okay. Nobody's force that you have to do masters, okay. Nobody sits upon you that you have to do masters or anything of that sort. You make up your mind, I want to do masters, I want to do PhD, I want to get into a good PSU. It is your decision, correct? So if you have decided so, and if you want to bring laurels to your own life, if you want to open up many prospects for yourself, that is how you make up your mind and you start preparing for GATE. You tell yourself certain positive things that yes, 1 year from now I want to see myself in such and such a company or such and such a place. I want to be surrounded by people who instill me with positivity all the time, who drive me towards becoming a better person. I have a lot of learning to do. So I mean, some people have that urge to keep learning all throughout their lives, to study new things, to learn new things. So there are many things that motivate a person, okay. You sit and tell yourself why you want to do this, okay, and you keep reminding yourself every now and then, why do you want to do this, okay. So every time you lose motivation to study, it's okay, you excuse yourself, okay. You need not be so hard on yourself. You did not study for 2 to 3 days at a stretch because you were very tired. It's okay, it's your body, correct. It's not a machine, it's a body, it needs some relaxation. Go soft on yourself, okay. It's okay, even if you have not been able to study for, let's say, 1 week or so, excuse yourself and move on, okay. After that you start again, but you have to keep moving. That's all. That is the only important thing. Breaks in between are okay, but you just need to keep moving. Just keep reminding yourself why you started in the first place, okay. I think that should be the best way you can motivate yourself. And make sure you have a group of friends to discuss with. I mean, this is usually you should be lucky enough to get a group like that, because I mean, you are preparing for GATE with some. I mean, there will be many people who will definitely want to prepare for GATE and do GATE very well. Okay, so all of you should get together, make a WhatsApp group or something like that, share your experiences, how things are going, your ups and lows. If you can share with those people, it will always, it's a very welcoming move. Okay, it will be a stress buster for you. You will also understand that there are others who are going through the same thing. It's not just you. So you'll be able to share some common things that are running through your minds, and that will help you. It will keep you it will push you forward. It will keep pushing you. Okay, so make sure that you discuss with people around you, make some groups, talk to people. Okay, I think that is the best way you can keep yourself motivated. So if you have any more questions, we can take it up. So somebody feels that he or she is not good in concepts in the core subject, and what do you do in such a situation? Again, as I said, the syllabus at RV is crafted in such a way that time and again you will be given an opportunity to learn the things that you haven't learned well. Okay, you will time and again be given that opportunity to learn it well. So make use of that opportunity. That's all. For example, I remember in the 4th semester we had field theory. Okay, that was a very tough subject for most of us. So please excuse for all the other branch people here, please excuse, because I'm taking specific examples from EC. I'm pretty sure you will be able to translate that to some of the experiences in your own fields, but I'm not very well versed with the other subjects to talk about that, so I'll be talking only about EC. So please excuse me for that. But yeah, anyway, so continuing, so we had the subject called field theory, okay, and it required a lot of, there was a lot of math involved, and there are a lot of linear algebra and many things in field theory. So those who are in EC will be able to relate to this very well. Now in the 7th semester, we had the subject called transmission lines and antennas. So something of that sort was there. Again, their field theory is required actually. So the whole of field theory somewhat I got a very good revision of field theory while studying for that subject. We had analog mixed mode VLSI. So analog plus digital, both got covered. Analog electronics and digital electronics, both of it got covered in that one subject. I mean, the syllabus was set beautifully actually. So we had those kind of subjects which helped, which helped me and some of my other friends who took GATE. We all got very good revision of that merely by studying 7th semester very well. So just focus on that, okay? If you feel you are not good at the core concepts, it's okay. You will be given that opportunity to relearn those well again. Make use of that opportunity now. It's still not too late. I mean, come on, guys. You have the opportunity to take it in the 3rd year. You take it from me. It's such a blessing, I wish I had that actually. I had to spend one more year because in spite of getting a good rank, I missed it. I missed the deadline. I missed the deadline of applying to IISc. Can you believe it? Please don't make that mistake at least. Okay. So I'm a live example in front of you. So please don't make that mistake. Keep tracking the institute websites. As soon as GATE exam is over, most of them will start their application process. So make sure you keep a tab on those application processes, the deadlines, apply to all the institutes that you see yourself in, okay, that you wish to see yourself in. And I'm pretty sure things will go well, okay? Don't worry, okay? Please don't take this as a very, very serious affair. It's not. GATE is something that you should enjoy doing because it is your choice. You want to study further. You want to work in a good PSU. You want to, do, let's say, masters at IISc, take a very good recommendation from one of the professors there and go do a PhD abroad. All that it's in your hands. You wish to do it and therefore you are going to do it. So it should be an enjoyable process, okay? So it is again one more opportunity for you to learn the subjects that if you feel you have not learned well in RV, it's an opportunity for you to learn it well again. Take some good material. I'm pretty sure there are plenty of GATE materials out there and most of them are very good. Trust me. Okay. So I just stuck with this Kishore Kashyap's book because I went through the contents and then I felt that everything what I need is there here. And somehow Kishore Kashyap's book was very well in sync with the way we were taught at RV also. Somehow I could relate to it very well. So that way it helped me a lot. So make use of the opportunity at RV, okay? Talk to the faculty, make sure your doubts are cleared. Please don't have any hanging doubts, okay? Make sure your doubts are cleared. You do well in RV. You do whatever it takes to do well in RV, things will follow, okay? I think that is what you should focus on. Yeah, we can take some more questions if some of you have questions. Mahesh sir, would it be possible to unmute some of the attendees so that they can directly ask their questions instead of sending it through the chat?
Yeah, I think all the questions are answered in the chat as well as Q&A. So if anyone wants to talk, they can raise their hand so that can unmute them.
Yeah, I think that way it is faster instead of having to type the question in the chat box or in the Q&A box.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not mandatory to ask serious questions. You can ask anything.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, if
So
we
maybe
missed any
wants
questions
to-
in the chat, even that you can ask that if we by chance missed any questions in the chat.
Yeah.
So anybody wants to ask any question, raise hand.
So there is one question in the Q&A box. What is the difference between doing masters in India and foreign, quality-wise and opportunity-wise? Okay, so let me try to answer that. So as Abhishek already mentioned, specific to the US, so the way the master's programs happen there is that there are two types of master's programs. One is masters with thesis, and another is masters without thesis. Okay, many of the students who are not very inclined to study further don't take up the masters with thesis. They take up the masters without thesis program, so they'll be done in just 1 year. Okay, so I have a friend who did his masters from University UC Irvine, University of California Irvine. So he did his masters. He completed his masters in just 1 year, and now he is working at Facebook in the US only. So that is how it happens there. If you do a masters without thesis. So of course, if you do a master's with thesis, then you will have to spend 1 more year trying to work on some research problem and then getting your thesis written, consolidating all of the findings that you have into a thesis. Now in India, unfortunately, the thing is that all the master's programs come packaged with a thesis. You have to compulsorily do a research project and you have to write a thesis. Now that is very good in a way because you will have that hands-on experience of having worked on a research problem. You'll get to understand how is it that research problems are formulated, what goes, how do these people who actually solve problems at the helm of affairs, how do they actually get to think about the solutions? It's a very nice process in itself. I would say a master's with thesis program is very beneficial in that way. That way, you will have an opportunity. You would have explored sufficiently well, both on the academic front as well as the industrial front. So that way, masters with thesis is beneficial. Okay. Now, in terms of opportunities, so one thing is that people who go to the US specifically for masters, as far as I know, most of them they go on a loan. Okay, so they go on a loan. So what happens is that, let's say you have taken a loan of about 30 to 35 lakhs. Okay, so this, for example, I know of a student who went to Texas A&M University, my own friend, a very close friend of mine. So Texas A&M University is actually a state university. In spite of that, I think her tuition came to about 23.5 lakhs or so, if I'm not wrong. So what happens is that the only thing you will have in mind at the end of completing your master's is that you will have to repay that loan. Okay, now this is subject to the financial and the monetary status of the family from which you come from. Okay, so I'm not going to comment about that, but let's say a typical middle class family. So the students who go for a master's in the US will typically would have taken a loan and they would definitely want to repay it. So most of them, they actually think about joining a job. Okay, so they look for joining a company which will pay them well so that they can repay their loan in that particular duration of time. Otherwise, the interest keeps going up and up. So because of this, what happens is that most of them end up joining the industry, as I said. Now, when it comes to pay scales, there's a difference between industry and academia. You should be aware of this. Okay, that's why I'm trying to tell you this. So there's definitely a very big difference between the pay scales that you can expect in the industry and the pay scales that you can expect in academia. Okay, so for example, just to give you some real numbers, as a PhD student, I'm getting a stipend of 35,000 rupees per month, whereas some of the people who are in the industry will be earning definitely around 1.5 lakhs easily per month. Okay, so now this is something that may trouble you. Okay, but believe me, please don't go by these numbers. Okay, eventually after your PhD is done, you will get that package. You trust me, you believe in my words, you will get that package. That package is just a number. What matters is the kind of profile you get, the kind of job you are doing. Okay, most of these research-based profiles, the R&D, the so-called R&D profiles, are usually reserved for masters and PhD students in some of the top companies that at least I know of. Microsoft, Google, Facebook, Amazon, in all of these places, the research profiles are usually for the masters and PhD students. Okay, so as a master's student, in fact, let me tell you that also, as a master's student, you will be getting the monthly stipend of only 12,400 rupees. That's like, I know it is less, okay, but that's not the whole point. During those 2 years or 2.5 years that you are doing masters, you are picking up a lot of tools. That's what is very important for you to know. The more tools you pick up, the better you are as a candidate for the industry. Okay, both for industry and academia, both I'm trying to tell. So that package is just a number. See, ultimately, even if you go and join the industry, what matters is not how difficult you are to hire. It's about how difficult you are to let go of. The company will easily let go of you when they think there is no necessity for them to keep you. Okay, so you should make sure that you are very difficult to get rid of. What do I mean by that? You should be in such a position that you should pick up a lot of tools. I would call them as tools, techniques. Learning a new subject is like picking up a new tool. Okay, my PhD advisor always used to tell me, Karthik, even though you are a PhD student, I want you to pick up as many tools as possible before you graduate from IISc. So when he says tools, it's anything. For example, my work has mostly to do with mathematics. That doesn't mean I don't know Python programming. So you should have the flexibility to learn new things and pick up things on the fly as and when you need to learn them. If you're good at that, then you are very difficult to be replaced. Okay, so that is what you should look for. Please don't go by numbers. That is one of the main mistakes that bachelor students do. I also was almost on the verge of falling into that trap. Thanks to my lab mates at IISc, I was saved. Okay, so please don't go by the numbers. I know many people at IISc who have been in the industry for 7 to 8 years. After that, they have come to do a PhD. Trust me, they say PhD life is, even in spite of having less money in PhD, they say PhD life is much better because they have time to learn whatever they want to learn. They have time for doing whatever they want to do. That time that you get for yourself, that time where you become a better person by learning new things, I think that's what finally matters. So please stick to your instincts. Okay, if you are very sure about going to the industry, you trust your instincts now. Later on, when your mind changes, if you want to do masters or whatever, you can do it. That's okay. Okay, but make sure, just have a goal in front of you. It's not about comparing whether the masters in the US is better or masters in IISc is better. Let me tell you this also. If you're not in one of the top tier universities, like let's say MIT or Berkeley, UC Berkeley, or even to some extent Texas, UT Austin. Okay, there are some top universities like this. If you are not here, you are actually better off at IISc. Please remember that. Okay, there is no point in going to some arbitrary university in the US just because it is US. There is a tag. You will be able to get a good job. You will get placed well. That you will be able to do even here. That package is just a number. That's all. The better the skills that you acquire, obviously you will be able to go top of the ladder anywhere you are. Okay, so I hope I have gotten this point across clearly. The thing is, there is a difference in terms of this thesis work and the number of courses that one has to do. There is a difference in these terms. It is just logistical difference, that's all. But most of the students who go for a master's abroad are usually on a loan, unless they are very financially well off, which personally, I know only a handful of them. I can count on my fingers how many actually went without a loan. Most of them, they go on a loan. And because they are on a loan, they are obliged to repay that loan as quickly as possible, which will automatically push them to join the industry after masters. But here, that's not the case. Okay, so you will have the comfort of getting a monthly stipend, and the fee will also be not very expensive. In IAC, it's extremely cheap. You won't believe how much the fee is. You should join IAC and experience that for yourself. It will not be good if I tell you now.
Yeah,
Okay.
to add to, I mean, to support Karthik's point, I mean, he said if you go to US, you need to take a loan. In IIC, actually, after spending my pocket money, paying my fees, hostel fees, I could save some amount from my stipend, even though it is just 12,400. And my MTech fees was like 15,000 rupees. It's very less. I mean, for IITs, it's much more higher, maybe 40,000, but still the stipend is good enough to cover your tuition fees, hostel fees, and have a pocket money extra. So it's like
I mean, you should very carefully listen to the number that he said. Whatever thousands he said, it is per annum.
per annum,
Okay.
yeah, 15% per annum. Yeah.
15,000 per annum is the fee in IAC. Compare that to 23 lakhs for 2 years in Texas A&M University. There is no comparison there. But again, as one thing is also true, which is that those people will be earning in dollars, we will be earning in rupees. Yes, that is all there. All that is agreed. But finally, I think what matters is not this number. This number will come to you eventually. Once you do a master's. So for example, I know many people from IISc who have been placed into Qualcomm, who have been placed into Netradyne. There is another company called Netradyne. They have been placed there and they are earning very handful amounts, 1.8, 1.9 lakhs per month on hand. That will be good enough, actually. Okay, so you will eventually earn that amount. Don't worry about that. The point is, how many tools have you picked up? Once you go to the industry, how difficult are you to be replaced? Just ask yourself this question. If I were to join the industry today, how easy would it be for the company to remove me? How easy would it be for the company to find reasons to take me off their list of employees? Because ultimately, what the companies want is best of the employees. They won't care. They won't think even for one moment if they want to replace you. Okay. So make sure that you pick up all the tools that are necessary, put yourself in a good place, put yourself in such a strong footing that you become irreplaceable. Make sure you acquire that kind of a skill set. Okay. So that is what is going to protect you in the long term. Okay. And regarding the question about when will GATE exam take place every year, just to iterate, it usually takes place around the end of January or first week of February. Just make sure you have keep a tab on that. Every year there is something called a GATE conducting institute. So there are these IITs and IISc. The IITs and IISc every year they take turns in conducting GATE exam. For example, if 1 year IISc conducts GATE exam, the next year IIT Kanpur or IIT Madras or IIT Bombay, either one of these, some of these IITs are there, which are participating institutes. One of these institutes will conduct GATE exam. The next year, that baton will be passed. Some other institute will conduct GATE exam. So it's like that. Each institute will take turns in conducting the GATE exam. So just make sure that you just Google GATE 2022, for example. Just Google that. There will already be a website and there will be a date on which GATE exam is going to happen. And you will have to, fill in the form and all of that. Make sure you keep a tab on the dates. Okay, please don't do the mistake that I did of having missed the deadline of applying to IASc. Because of that, I could not join IASc the first time. Okay, so yeah. Dheeraj, would you like to add anything?
So just to add that, I think like from what I've seen from the last few years, GATE exam occurs in the first or second weekend of February. So that has been the norm, at least in the recent years.
Okay. Uma madam, if there are no further questions, can we wind up?
Sir, I just want to make one point.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So usually people ask, do you get free time at IIC or something? This is a very popular question. So, yeah, actually, we do get a lot of free time. There are a lot of clubs such as in RV. So there are in IIC also. There is a big, I mean, every IIC and IITs have that flexibility. Yes, you get a free time and do whatever hobbies you want to do. Don't think that it will be a very tight schedule or something. If you learn GATE properly, you take my point, you won't struggle in your masters. And see, doing MTech thesis, so So they compulsory that you need to publish a transaction paper or a research paper in order to get your MTech thesis. If your professor under whom you're doing a master thesis, if he is satisfied, there is no, he can't hold you for long. He has to give you MTech entry, unless in the case of MTech research or PhD. Even there is no compulsory in those courses as well. But in masters, it's a lot more flexible. There is no need of publication. You need not be afraid. Like at the end of 2 years, if I couldn't publish anything, will I be given an MTech degree? Yes, you will be given an MTech degree. They can't hold you. Doing masters project actually helps a lot when you go to industry. So Karthik has reiterated again and again that tools that we need to learn, right? When you start doing a project, you will naturally have to start picking up tools which are not even maybe out of your course. So that's it. Maybe I think Uma ma'am can share all our email IDs. If you have further queries, you can reach to us.
So people have
And
asked if they can connect with us on LinkedIn. Please, you're most welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll share my LinkedIn ID on the Q&A box. Okay.
Yeah. If you guys have any specific questions relating to some particular branch apart from ECE, or you want to inquire something about a particular institute, say IIT, how is the department there, how is the project there, then best practice is to go to their website, college, IIT Kharagpur, each of them have their website. Go to your choice of department, and you will have a students list along with their mail IDs. So please write to them. They will definitely respond back. At least one of them will definitely respond back to you. You can ask anything you want. Those lists are available in your in all the websites. Most of the website it's available. I think that's all. Thank you. It's like coming back to college again, seeing my sir Uma
The
ma'am.
only unfortunate part is that I would have loved to, see all of you and meet. Unfortunately, that cannot happen. But anyway, I think this is a great thing. I wish something like this, some interaction like this was possible for students of my batch also. So many of us had so many confusions on what we should do after bachelor's. I think this is an excellent initiative. Thank you so much, Uma ma'am and Mahesh sir. This is an excellent initiative. Please keep this going. Please invite many more students from all the different batches who have passed out. Please invite many more students and get all of these students who are currently studying in RV to come and attend these kind of sessions. Okay, I think these are extremely useful. So many things will get clarified. Yeah, thank you so much, Uma ma'am and Mahesh sir.
Yeah, thank you, Karthik. Uma madam. Uma madam. Madam, you are muted. So shall we conclude? Okay, I think Madam is busy, or I don't know. Yeah, anyway, thank you, Karthik, for sharing your all the views of experience in cracking the gate and IAC, especially the difference between the gate and GRE and things, how the students, how should they prepare, and it's very good initiative. And so thank you, Abhishek and Dheeraj, for your time and sharing of your views. Thank you very much. I also thank Uma madam for taking this initiative, for organizing it from our own alumni, because it is always we should connect to alumni like you and learn many things. Also, you should be guiding your junior batches so that they will in turn have some exposure towards this kind of examinations and all those things. And I thank Diksha and Saransh. They are our UG students. They took this initiative of arranging it for registrations as well as posters. And thank you very much, Karthik. Thank you very much, Abhishek, Dheeraj. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was a pleasure. Diksha and Saransh, please make sure you rope in many more like you, and you organize many more such sessions. Okay. I think this will be really helpful to the students. Okay.
Yes.
Thanks a lot. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank Karthik, Abhishek, Dheeraj, Actually, from your heart, you told everything, all three of you. Very nice. I think nobody would have explained such a nice way to our students. Now they know what is RVC and what RVC students can do. So they got now some confidence. Definitely they can crack the gate. Thank you all, so nicely you have spoken. Even though I had some work, I was sitting in front of the laptop, and in between only 5 to 10 minutes I used to go out. It was so interesting. Very nice. From your heart, you told all your experiences. Very nice. Thank you all.
Yeah,
Welcome.
we'll call
Please,
you
please,
to
please do
college.
more sessions like this.
Yeah,
Okay,
we'll
okay.
call you
So,
to the college after the pandemic is over. Okay, so welcome.
Oh yeah, definitely looking forward to visiting there.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
thank you.
We'll end the meeting.